Other.
A little, yeah. Hoo, ha, ha.
Get out of there.
Hey,
She
that's
clean
better.
now.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I wore my V-neck in case we wanted to go X-rated it all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah, you got like the whole like almost Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
You know?
If you want, I'll berate you for no good fucking reason.
Yeah, you probably will anyway.
I'll tell you how bad you're doing. Right in the middle of it.
Oh my God.
You've got no shot. You've got no shot. Go home.
So I had a guy at my first gig this weekend. My first gig.
Yeah.
Pull me aside and say, listen, man, I'm a professional singer. I've sang for, I think he said popes and presidents, and I'm like, oh. He's like, I got some notes for you. I'm like, oh, awesome. Just what I want to hear. Notes. Like,
Boy.
he's like, you're really good, but everything you sing sounds the same. Like you're singing in the same voice. And I'm like, well, yeah,
Well,
that's my voice.
I only have the one. What did he expect?
And he was like,
he thought you were gonna do the police academy guy.
yeah, I'm Michael Winslow. It's weird you said that because I actually watched Police Academy 3 yesterday for some odd reason. Nothing else on Netflix, but yeah. Yeah, so then he's like, you know, I have perfect pitch, so one of those guys.
Oh my god.
And he
Those
was
guys
like,
are the worst.
so if I want to sound like Michael McDonald, I could be like, and he starts singing like Michael McDonald, but it's really terrible. And I'm like, I feel really much better about your criticism now. Like it doesn't bother me anymore.
It's the Even Steven and Oddly Mark Show. It's the Even Steven and Oddly Mark Show. It's the Even Steven and Oddly Mark Show. It's the Even Steven and Oddly Mark Show.
So it's great that you met that guy though, because I've met that guy before too. I don't know if yeah, I remember meeting I was in county college. We went to Camden County College for music production and whatnot. And a friend of mine that I met in class there, we go to the local bar after class the one day, and the bartender is telling us the same kind of rap. He's like, see, I like to get in there and I like to do, and like I kind of want to be like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like emo, but I want to be like emo pop punk, but I want to be like, you know. And the dude's got this, like, he's completely vain. Like you can tell he's got this look, you know. He probably goes to the gym, tattoos and all that, right?
Was he wearing a V-neck?
Not the 10 bar, but it's on his profile pic. But anyway, this guy is going on and on about all how much he knows. He's gonna, you know, the vision that he has and how much he knows about production and all that. And not long after that, maybe a month or two later, I was in Gradwell House recording in Jersey, and the producer Dave Downham and someone else were having a conversation about this guy that made such a fool of himself. Like how big he talked a game, and he got in there and he sounded like, you know, like putting two cats in a fucking ring to fight or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he was just horrible.
Right.
And he happened to have a picture on his phone of who the guy was.
And here was the bartender.
That was the bartender. Talking the game and just not following through, man.
Which bar was it? Do you remember?
Boy, it was right by Camden County College. I
I'm
can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's right off of Blackwood Clementon there, somewhere in that vicinity.
The only place I can remember is like Philomena's.
Nah, this wasn't it was a step down from that.
I don't know. I would
So
imagine
that was-
maybe a couple steps down. Maybe.
That was your one gig this weekend, right?
Yeah, that was that was my one.
You got
And
you
it was
got to
funny
meet
because
Michael McDonald's
I got-
number one impersonator.
Oh my God, it was so bad. But
That's
here's the
fantastic.
thing. Truth is, he got in my head because the rest of the night, I'm like trying to like, and what made it worse, full disclosure, I don't usually smoke pot at shows. It's just it's not good, right? And for some reason, later on that night, I played at the MRI, and there was somebody smoking. I was like, hey, we just get one hit.
Oh, this was your double header.
It's my double header, right? So
Ah.
Oh man, second and third set of that night, I'm just like, I hear myself and I'm like, oh god, I sound like
All self-conscious, all
Oh,
in your
yeah,
head.
just trying to
Probably smoked a sativa of some sort.
Probably,
Because that's the
yeah.
one that really starts getting
Yeah.
your brain paranoid and
Yeah.
fucking like
But that's how it is.
self-aware.
Yeah, that's how it is now. One hit, that's all. Yeah. It's game over for me. Game over.
You know
And
what? With Bong Hits for Jesus being like this thing I've been a part of for this long,
Mm-hmm.
the surprising thing that most people find out is that I too have to avoid smoking before
Yeah.
performing if I want to do it right.
Yeah.
And it's just it's sacrilege. I understand if we're sellouts or if it's phony or if you know what I mean.
I don't
But
think it's phony. I mean,
the truth is, I love smoking some good bud. You know.
yeah.
I don't do this vape shit. I'm not into the glass and the dabs and all that kind of stuff.
I don't even know what half that shit
Give
is.
me some flour. Give me some indica at the end of my night after I've worked and done some productive shit,
Yes.
and it'll mellow me out. And that's how I enjoy my cannabis.
Yeah.
Or if I'm by myself, or in very close encounters with someone, maybe doing some writing. You know, in a place where it's not consequential, somewhere you're just trying to be creative, you know, just sitting in the studio or at home, then I like a good sativa or a hybrid. But yeah, doing it at the shows is just,
Oh yeah. No, it was. And
it's
I
no
knew
bueno.
as soon as it hit my lens, I was like, that's a bad idea. This is not gonna end well. I also like to be at home and like with a box of Twinkies and like a Scooby-Doo marathon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's all I need. That's all I need.
Right. Everyone can enjoy the medicine in their own
Yeah.
way. That you know what I mean. Like it's not like a bro competition.
No.
But you know, you did go ahead and make that mistake, didn't you?
Oh man. And I was so in my and then all of a sudden like that guy got in my head and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like and I'm sitting there and I'm like trying to make my voice just sound like Eddie Vedder or whatever I was singing at the time. And I'm like no matter what song it was, I was like trying to do like an impersonation all of a sudden.
I feel like I'm capable of doing a decent job at that, at kind of morphing a little. But at the end of the day, it's you know, you only got the one the one voice box.
I have
you know
like
what I'm saying? Like,
I have like
it's still you.
Yeah, I have like 3 variations, but
Right.
you know, it's it's what it is, you know.
Now, what about other jobs that you have done or could do stoned or not? Like, is that just like a blanket thing for you?
Now, yes. 20
Yeah.
years ago, no. 20 years ago, I could do everything.
Yeah.
But like now, no. My body's changed. You know, my body's
Yeah.
changed, and like years ago, I mean, you know, I used to be in the restaurant business, and
That was kind of what I was alluding to, was whether or not that was something that you could do, you know, running a kitchen or something of that nature.
yeah. In fact, years ago, I don't think I could do it without being a little
Is that right?
medicated with the cannabis. But nowadays, no way. Nowadays, we're like, oh my god. I'd hear like the printer. Do they still have printers in that business? I think it's all screens now. But back in the day, you know, you'd hear like, oh, I got an order coming in. It would just give me major anxiety nowadays.
Oh shit!
But yeah.
Now you told me about doing the restaurant thing. You ran or did you own, manage?
I owned a pizza
owned
shop.
a pizza shop.
/ trattoria in Stratford.
Now, what led you into the pizza shop ownership situation? Because we talked about this, and it's funny because we were going to get into this whole thing about how the Even Steven and Oddly Mark thing would even started. You know, by now this would be episode 3. You guys have already heard the Bill Murray story, and you've heard the I did acid on stage at a theater play.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
No,
It was it not?
it was Godspell.
Oh, Godspell.
But you know,
was
6 of 1.
It was
Pretty much.
Bong Hits for Jesus Christ Superstar. It was, I think. I think that's what it was.
Someone write that
Local
down.
production. Yes.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that was the inspiration for this whole
But
thing.
the inspiration for the whole thing was a conversation we had one night at the Mount Royal Inn.
Our local sponsor. Can we say our local sponsor?
I would love it. Yeah,
All right,
Mount
cool.
Royal Inn's one of the oldest taverns in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark, that's still a spot you play. It's weekly, right? It's
Every
vertical?
Thursday.
Every Thursday evening.
Every Thursday.
You can go check it out for free. Have some cheap drinks and the best The best. I don't even mind saying this. The best wings.
You love their
Their
wings.
famous sauce is the best thing.
Yeah.
My wife and I, Amy, it's just at least weekly. We're like, what are you feeling? Oh, you know what I'm thinking right now, right?
That's the
And
wings.
we do it, and they're using DoorDash or Grubhub or one of them right now too.
That's
It's
awesome.
dangerous.
Yes.
Anyway,
and they're keto friendly too. Those
So-
wings are keto friendly,
Oh, bet.
which is good
There
for
you
me
go.
because I'm trying to
Yeah. Trying to get rid of the Pooh Bear.
get rid of the idea of I should set my alarm for Wendy's breakfast. Like that's so yeah.
We're hanging out at the MRI probably a couple months ago now.
Yeah, it was a
And-
while ago, yeah.
And someone brought up the idea of maybe throwing a podcast together, and I just wonder, what we could do and whatever. And we're hanging out, and your friend Jess, shout out
Jess
to
Carney, yeah. Hi,
She
Jess.
happened to be out there having a smoke with us, and you told this story about the restaurant thing, and I'm like, how did you get into the pizza shop restaurant ownership situation? And you told me a very logical.
Obviously, I went to broadcasting school, and the obvious next step. So, when I was younger, I
The
dreamt big.
no-brainer after you learn how to run a radio program
Yes.
is to go make some pizza.
Well, when I was younger, I had lots and lots of dreams, and I just wanted to do everything,
Okay.
And I always wanted my own restaurant, like to the point where, like, most kids, like even like musicians, they would draw like album covers and stuff. I'm sure you did that. Not me. I drew like outlines of like, okay, cool. Well, you come in the restaurant this way. I have my deep fryers here. Like I would literally draw these in
Where
like
did that
7th and 8th
inspiration
grade.
come from?
I don't know because
Did you have family that was in the business, or
no. I mean, my brother worked at a local restaurant.
you had eaten at a lot of restaurants? Is
I-
that what it was?
Yes. I don't know. It just seemed like a right fit for me,
Mm-hmm.
And especially when I got into high school, when I got my first job, I worked at a place called the Coop. And it was a chicken. It was the first time I'd ever heard of buffalo wings ever. Like
Okay.
that's how it was, like 1993.
All right.
So like buffalo wings weren't like a thing where you could get at every pizza shop. It wasn't,
It wasn't common.
And my brother worked there, so I was like, "Ooh, let me get a job as a dishwasher." And then I started learning how to cook and learning equipment and stuff. And it was really an awesome experience for me, and it's something that I wanted to pursue. Well, years later, I was listening to Howard Stern's show in the morning on my shower radio. If anybody remembers shower radio,
As you
remember?
do.
Yeah.
Shower radio.
And I heard a commercial for the Connecticut School of Broadcasting,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh, maybe that's what I want to do. I think I'd be pretty good,
Yeah.
I'm an interesting guy." At 18 years old, I thought I had
Perfect product placement, or as far as like marketing goes, is like you're listening to Howard Stern, thinking to yourself,
I could
"Man,
do
that
this.
would be a cool job."
I could
and
be-
then the commercial comes on.
Yeah.
Would you like to learn how to do that job?
Yeah, perfect. Yes, but it was actually in Cherry Hill.
Really?
At the Cherry One building. So I'm like,
Is there
well,
still one there?
it's in Cherry Hill still. It's in a different location, but this
Okay.
used to be, the Cherry One building.
Mhm.
It was inside there. It was like on
All
the
right.
26th floor or something like that, And
Nice.
they have their own building now. But yes, I was like, ooh, maybe I'll do that. Now this is after I went to culinary school, and I just wanted to completely change paths.
Oh, so you okay? All right. So there
I-
was culinary school first.
Yes, but I dropped out of that.
Okay.
I was a culinary school dropout. I'm like, I'm never going to be able to get this,
Once they got past the pizza and the chicken wings,
yeah.
you weren't passing the.
Yeah,
tests
I
after
was
that.
like, nah, I don't know how to make a.
They say you had to make in order to become a chef, sous chef or a master chef, you have to learn how to make an egg.
99 ways.
Is that 99 is the number?
Well, I don't know if it's a
Or
99
so
or
to
100.
speak, though. Is it?
Right, yeah, and that's what the pleats around a hat represent. How many?
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember hearing that before.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I was like, well, I can.
And you only had like a handful.
I could scramble at that point. I could scramble.
So culinary
And I could-
school's like,
I could soft or hard boil, and I wasn't really sure exactly how it was going to come out at that
I'm
point.
gonna rip this from another podcast that I'm super fond of called Something's Burning. Something's Burning on All Things Comedy. That's the Bill Burr comedy network.
Okay.
He has a whole comedy network on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
called All Things Comedy. One of the shows on it is Bert Kreischer's Something's Burning. He had Donnell Rawlings show him how to make Scotch eggs. Have you ever heard of Scotch eggs?
I have.
I actually experimented with Scotch eggs here, and with some success. It was one of the most delicious things I've ever had.
The Scotch eggs
and
are
I
delicious.
only had my own to try. I had never heard of it or gone out and tried it at a restaurant at all, and I made a whole day of it.
Oh, yeah.
Figuring out like the whole
not?
thing with
Yeah.
the ingredients. But we digress.
Yeah.
So you didn't make it as far as the Scotch eggs in culinary school.
Right. I did not. I think I think I made it like past like the mother sauces. Like I really didn't do well in culinary school. In fact, most of the things that I learned, as far as being a cook, I wouldn't call myself a chef, even though I do have a hat.
It's only got a couple of them.
It's like got 2 pleats in it. Yeah, that's it. No, I do like to cook. I love to cook, but most of the stuff I learned in the field. I think, culinary school was wasted on me. But anyway, so I dropped out. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was 18 years old. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life.
You're still young, yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I'd like to still think that I'm young, but I'm not. But yeah, at the
This
time,
whole story just took place like 3 years ago, folks.
yeah, I'm only 22. Shit, I wish I was better with math. I could have pulled that lie off, maybe. Superimpose like the gray out of my hair, maybe, or something.
So
like
you
that.
went to Connecticut
The
School of
Connecticut's
Broadcasting
in
at
Cherry
18
Hill.
in
Yeah.
Cherry Hill.
Yes,
Got out of there.
I took a couple internships, but at the same time, my jobs were in restaurants.
So still paying the bills with the restaurant stuff. So it makes
Right.
sense. Okay. And then somewhere along the line got the music bug, or had already caught it.
Well, no, I'd already caught the music bug, but I never really saw music as like a career.
As a viable
Right.
career.
It just didn't.
See,
like,
that's the difference between you and I.
Yeah.
I blindly believed that entertainment was always going to pay my bills to the point where it was like detrimental.
Yeah.
It's so much so that I, for sure, at different stages in my life, starved. Definitely was a starving artist, so to speak.
Yes.
Definitely sacrificed any sense of security, ruined relationships,
Oh yeah.
disappointed family members, took on boatloads of debt for no good reason other than I know I'm gonna make it.
Yeah. I never quite had that confidence in myself as a musician, and I still don't. And now somehow or another, like that kid, when I was 15 years old, like of course, I had those dreams, but I always subconsciously was like, well, I can't put all my eggs in that basket.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
There's a lot of egg talk
irrational
here.
about it.
Yeah. Well,
I was
it's
completely irrational.
and look at you now.
Yeah, we were
I
just
mean-
hanging out talking about eggs, and
A lot of eggs conversation here.
but it's nice to know that you can try different paths
Yeah.
and pass or fail. There's a chance to do the next thing if you're ambitious.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's the little lesson for anyone out there, millennial in that neighborhood that might want to know. Mark's tried a lot of different things, and now he makes a good full-time living performing.
Yes. I think the main thing to take out of that is like don't follow your dreams, find out where your dreams are going, and then just catch up with them later. That's
a good way to look at
To
it.
steal a line from Mitch Hedberg.
Is that what
That's
was?
a Mitch Hedberg line.
I
yeah.
like that.
I love it.
Okay.
It's great, right?
Oh man,
That's
There's so
good,
many
right?
good
Yeah.
ones, man.
Yeah.
But I used to too.
All right. So where were we? Yeah. So there was, I don't know. Do you remember September 11th, 2001? I think everybody kind of remembers where they were.
That
for
was when
9/11.
that was when I got the
yeah.
eviction notice at my first studio apartment.
Really?
Did something else happen that day?
Yeah, quite a bit happened. Maybe we shouldn't laugh about it, but
I'm sorry.
I don't think there's
I
been
don't
enough
know
a lot
who's
of.
that sensitive about it now.
I think we can laugh about
Is
the
19
Holocaust.
years too soon?
Yes, I think we can officially laugh about the Holocaust now.
Okay,
but
all
now
right.
I should. Oh shit! Cut that part. Jesus.
I'm not cutting it at
All
all.
right, we're not laughing about the event. We're laughing about.
Of
All
course
right, okay.
not. It's
So
a
anyway, so yeah.
reaction to
So it was
things.
actually-
we can have fun.
Yes, absolutely. So actually, that day, I had band practice after work, and I was at work when all this shit happened.
Mm-hmm.
So like everybody comes over for band practice.
I forgot this was an element in this story. Go
Yeah,
ahead, I'm sorry.
It's funny.
Continue.
It's funny you say element because the band was actually called Wrong Elements. It's odd. That's a really crazy tie-in that you put in there. But yeah, so we all get together and like we're like none of us feel like jam. We're like, well, maybe we shouldn't play and like just kind of. I think we just ended up shooting the shit and playing.
I
pool
remember
and
it being uncomfortable, not knowing whether or not it was okay to enjoy
yes,
anything.
exactly.
And
exactly.
and to a degree, it wasn't. There
No.
was definitely a time of, reflection and mourning,
Absolutely.
and that kind of thing. So,
my friend John Huber was over, and he used to always come over to all our rehearsals, and we're playing pool. Like everybody had left, just me and him, just shooting a game of pool. And he's like, "Yo, dude, Coochie's Pizza's for sale." It was this pizza place. It was like I grew up on, and we always made fun of the name because it was Coochie's.
okay.
And I was
Coochies.
like, and here I am, and I mean, I'd gone to broadcasting school. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? And all of a sudden it was, especially that day, it was like, oh my God, like it could end in a minute.
It was reflective. It was
a very reflective
you're
day.
evaluating yourself
Yeah.
and the what's the term for it? Just the fragility of life and
Yeah.
all that kind of
And so he told me about this, and I'm like, well, I couldn't do that. I don't have any money. I don't have nothing, right? And I found out it's really easy to like convince a bank to give you a lot of money if you have not convinced a bank previously to give you a lot of money. Because now that I've done
they
that,
love a first time.
yeah. Now that I've done
first-time
that,
caller.
they won't give me shit. They're like,
They love a first time caller. That's like
No.
the credit card companies on
Yes.
school campuses.
exactly
Yeah.
what it. It's now I can't get a $300 limit on a credit card, but at the time they were like, "Oh, we need $40,000. Sure, here you go." Which was actually a very small amount compared to a lot of people that buy
Sure, a lot
restaurants.
of startup business loans,
Yeah.
of course.
So, I went in and I bought the restaurant, and for the next year and a half, I really just shit the bed completely on everything.
But at this point, you're a what? How old?
I was
19?
23.
23.
I was
You're a
23, yeah.
23-year-old business owner.
By the time everything was signed and set into place, I
You're
was
a
23.
23-year-old business
From-
owner. Oh,
yeah.
so from from 9/11, it took there was a process.
Yeah,
Maybe
there was definitely a process.
Maybe a year
yeah.
later, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I spent the next year and at 23 years old I was not ready for that at all. It's a shame
Right.
because I still like today, and if you ever talk to my girl about it, like I say it all the time. I'm like, oh, like I could have and in my head I'm like, no, I really can't because I've already done that. It's a shame that I kind of killed that dream too early before I was ready to actually realize that dream.
Yeah, but there's regrets aren't helping anybody.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's nothing, there's
We all have
nothing to say that the opportunity might not present itself in one form or another, before your story's over.
Yeah, it's true.
And you could even tie over the new stuff that you've learned through the music business, and have that kind of help elevate whatever venture you might find yourself in. But
Is this your segue into making me book you at my new restaurant?
what I'm saying is, I am available on a lot of Thursday nights because the place that I wanted to play has this guy Mark Fisher
Cheers.
every Thursday.
Every Thursday. Marky the Fish, the Dive Bar Diva.
Marky the
That's
Fish.
Marky the Fish, the Dive Bar Diva. Yeah, yeah.
Guys, if you are ever in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area and you want to just have a good time out at a restaurant or a dive bar or something like that, please look Mark Fisher up and check him out. He puts on a good show. He's got a great repertoire of all kinds of different music, from different eras, and it's very entertaining. It's a fun time.
It's the Even Steven and Oddly Mark Show. It's the Even Steven and Oddly Mark Show. It's the Even Steven and Oddly Mark Show. It's the Even Steven and Oddly Mark Show.